Hey, Jeremy the Tall Trainer here. I got a 5-minute set for you, all right? So we broke up our workout this month, our resistance training, into 5 minutes. We call it, it's only 5 minutes. And so you got 5 minutes of some blocks of exercises. All right, so one of them is I call it the squat party. All right, so what you're gonna do is, you're gonna do 15 squats. So pushing that butt back, make sure position's good, butt's back, knees are out. You know, pretty good tempo on it, so a little bit quicken on that, make sure everything's good. 15 of those, then you're gonna hold for 20 seconds. So hold 20 seconds, starts burning real bad. But make sure the knees are out, the butt's back, all that good stuff. And then you do 15 gorilla squats. So hands are on the ground for that, and the hips go up. All right, right in there. All right, so you're dropping in there, and you're lifting the hips up in that. Try not to let your knees go forward too much. All right, the hips drop and they squeeze up, and you're squeezing here, the hamstrings get a little bit tight as you hit the top of that, and you got 15 of those, and then you go right back into the regular squats. All right, so 5 minutes of that is going to burn a whole lot. Now, here's a couple different options, some things to watch out for, some things to consider. As you're doing that, the goal is the burning, which is strange. You don't want the burning really, but the goal is the burning. All right, and it's not specific. It's not in the knees. You know, it's not in that, but it's in the quads, in the butt. You know, maybe a little bit in the lower back, but make sure posture's intact while you're getting that. And it's working these posture muscles, these stabilizer muscles, and the main muscles of the legs. One of the reasons why this one is in the workout is for the opportunity to work the thigh muscles really, really strong. A lot of people have rough knees because the quads are not very strong, and so the knee is left vulnerable as they're doing stuff. Now, if you have really problematic knees, you might need to change this one up just a tiny bit and do maybe a deadlift, grab a bar or something like that, do that deadlift, and then do some top half squats, and then maybe a little hold. Because usually if you can stay, there's a certain point where it starts to hurt. If you stay above that, you can still get it going pretty good. And that might allow you to get at least the thighs working, flexing, and building up some more muscle into that thigh there. All right, so you can alternate between the deadlift and the small squats, and that hold could be your 3 that you go through on this one. All right, now, big challenge on this, if you really want to maximize this, is try to see how many rounds you can get without a stand up and cry moment. All right, so you know, if you're really cranking on this, you get the hold, you get the gorilla squats, try to do all those in a row without a pause. Without a pause, that's hard to do. It's gonna feel like the muscles are like pulling apart a little bit, you're like, but see how far you can take that. All right, and that's gonna be like a measure of progress, is being able to take that a little bit farther each time. One of the big ones you could try to work on is trying to go from the 20-second hold into the gorilla squats right away. Because one of the things we're trying to get to, that really starts to get to the thighs pretty good. And as soon as you take a rest break, as soon as you pause and you shut down the burn, it takes a number of reps just to get that burn back again. All right. Now, the first time you do this, if you go crazy hard, you're going to end up pretty sore, and that's going to be difficult. But the next time you do it, you know, you could probably go pretty hard, and it hurts really terrible while you're doing it. It's very difficult, and your legs are jelly afterwards. But you're not going to get quite as sore, and you're going to still be able to function, you know, through the next day. So maybe the first time you do it, take it a little bit easy, but then start working on really building up the intensity of how much of that burning feeling can you sustain while you're doing this. All right. So again, big points on that. Make sure there's no knee pain, nothing like that. You know, make sure weight's on the heels a bit there. And as you start really burning out, here's one I haven't mentioned yet. As you're really burning out, is make the goal to continue more important than how low you go. All right? So make the goal of continuing more important than how low you get. So that means as I come from like gorilla squats into the regular squats, I'm burning really bad. My regular squats might be just small little ones right here, and my hold might start being a high hold, and I'm really, really struggling there. But try to see if you can struggle through that and challenge this burning, right? Increasing that burning, because again, every time you take the rest break, you shut it down, and you got to start that burn up again. All right, so see if you can sustain that, even if it means smaller ranges of motion or not going quite as low. Tempo ends up winning a lot here. Tempo without rest. All right, so that one's pretty hard, but huge metabolic effect there. All right, that really activates the largest amount of muscles in our body. Our legs represent the most muscle of the body is kept in the legs there. And so you get those activated, you get them burning, they're gonna burn for a little while afterwards. All right, you're gonna increase your metabolism for a little bit there. It's gonna be a good deal. All right, so there's one of our sets from our resistance training this month. Have fun, be safe, God bless.